This episode of Coach's Corner brought to you by The Groove Yard, More Than a Rock Store, Divine Hammer Computers, Custom Built Fast Computers, and Advanced Audio Microphone Summerland. On this episode of Coach's Corner, Valentine's Day edition, we talk about the weekend that was, a weekend split, shutout loss to Merritt, big 8-4 win against Alberni Valley. Talk about the line, Louis Nanny, Wade Murphy, and Jed Solway combining for a big weekend. Returnees, Rob Mann and Ryan Gropp, and also preview a busy weekend, 3-3 for the Vees. All that and more, Coach's Corner starts now.
From the Best Damn Sports Bar on Martin Street in Penticton, with our 4th season, this is Coach's Corner. It's the show that brings you insight to the on and off ice action of the 2012 RBC Cup National Champions, the Penticton Vees. Host Fraser Rogers is joined by Vees head coach and GM Fred Harbinson with the Best Damn studio audience for the Best Damn Vees talk. Now, here's Coach Harbinson and Fraser Rogers.
Welcome back to another episode of Coach's Corner from the Best Damn Sports Bar here in Penticton, a Valentine's Day edition, and talking about a weekend split with the Vees, with Merritt and Alberni Valley last weekend. Still first place, 6 points up on Merritt. The Vees, 32 wins on the year. Let's go back though to Saturday night's game. We'll start with that one first. 8-4. You lose 1-0 night before. Offense comes to life. Obviously, it all started in that first period. 4 goals in that first period. It was, I think, 4 goals or on the 8 shots at one point for your team. What was changed from the first period from Friday to Saturday?
Well, I think clearly there was more ice to be had on Saturday night than there was on Friday, and then we took advantage of it. I thought we didn't overhandle the puck. When we did have the puck on our stick, we seemed to be able to make plays, and where we struggled a little bit with that the night previously, and then we got pucks to net in a hurry, and we had a good report on Alberni's goalie again, which we had success against in their building a little while back, and we were able to put a couple home early and get we probably take him off his game a little bit, and the big goal at the end there with right at when the time expired was critical.
Buzzer beater by Jed Solway. You look at that first period, talk about the scouting report with Jay Diao. Was it just putting pucks low? You saw a goal by Louis Nanny, the second goal, even the first goal, Ryan Gropp, a nice 5-hole deke. Was it getting pucks in around his feet?
Absolutely. That was the book we had on him, and it was important for our guys to follow the game plan. They did right away, and we had success once again. Up and
down hockey game for your team. Also, Louis Nanny before that kind of up and down, had some dry spells. Was it good to see him not get 1, 2, 3, but get 4 goals, maybe get him rolling as we head into March?
Yeah, there's no question. It's probably a little unfair to say he had dry spells just because what a lot of people didn't realize that he was playing hurt. And it seemed like every time there was, he started to have some success, he seemed to have a setback with his injury. So leading up to this week, that weekend, he had probably had his 2 best weeks of practice and was looking real strong. And he had a great chance on Friday night to score in the third period, didn't, and then capitalized on 4 great chances on Saturday.
Scored goals 14 through 17 on his season. In the paper, the Western had a good article about him yesterday on Wednesday, and he said he needs to shoot more. Maybe he's talking to coaches. Is that something you're emphasizing him, just get that quick shot off?
Well, his 2 best attributes are his feet and his shot, and when they go together, it's something special to watch. And so we've told Louis he's never getting in trouble to shoot too much with us. So that's what we're hoping for. He's scored. He's had 3 hat tricks this year. So he's scored, I think, 17 goals, and 10 of them come in 3 games. And he's getting hot at the right time for us.
Is there anything you say to a guy who scores in bunches like that? A lot of natural goal scorers do that. They get hot, they score in bunches. Is there a way to try to spread that out, or you just take what you get with the guy with his talent?
You take what you get, and like I said, in Louis' case, his season's probably been more disjointed due to the fact of injury, not more going on cold snaps or whatever. So just told him to stay positive. I think he's a real feel good type player when he's feeling good about himself. He plays with a little more jump in his step, and there's not many that are faster than him in the league. And he does a lot of other things too. Like one of the things we talked to him about, Louis about, was that at the beginning of the year when he didn't have the puck on his stick, I think there was times where we were kind of concerned, where he was at on the ice or what he was going to do. And now defensively, he's one of our better players. He's probably the best shot blocker on our team, and he's just, I think his whole game has come a long ways.
Saw that on Friday as well, blocking a lot of shots was Louis Nanny. Also in that hockey game, you talked about Jed Solway scoring, but it seemed the team was going to net with a purpose more on Saturday. Was that something said after Friday going into Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, we hadn't been shut out in a couple of years, so it was, clearly something. You go back to it now. We've played 9, our last 9 games. I think we've scored, 7 of them. I think we've scored over 5 goals. So it's not like scoring goals has been a problem. It just was that one night, and sometimes you have to recalibrate and start talking about things that are going to help you kind of get back on track, and that was clearly one of them.
I don't know if it's more open, but more ebb and flow to this hockey game than Friday tight checking affair. Was that just because it's two teams that don't really play each other a lot, and there's more of a feeling out process where it maybe leads to some mistakes and some open ice?
No, I think it kind of goes back to that's the way Alberni wants to play. I mean, they're not afraid to give you chances to get chances, and that's not how Merritt's going to play. And I think Alberni's done that all year, and they've been able to score a lot of goals, and they scored plenty on us on Saturday, really, when you think about it. They scored 4. That should have been enough to win. But, in the process, they gave up a few too many the other direction.
So Vees win there, bounce back at the 32nd win of the year. You go back one night, on Friday night, the big crowd, obviously, with the big Feed the Valley night and the Hogs and Hosers. Had the playoff-like atmosphere to it, and on the ice, that intensity. And you talked about just one mistake going in the net in the second period. But was that a game you knew was just to be a game of inches when it's the 2 top teams in the interior division?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think they were, they're content in playing that kind of game, and we have the ability to play that game as well. And unfortunately, we weren't generating a lot either. When you watch tape, they didn't generate a lot either. They probably outworked us a little bit in the first 2 periods, and in certain situations. And not that we weren't working hard, it's just that they, it's funny. We went and watched them play last night in Salmon Arm, and not taking anything away from them. They won the game there, but. They didn't even look like the same team. We know what we're going to get. We're going to get everybody's A+ game when they play us. It doesn't matter if there's 4,000 people in the building or 10 people in the building. It's the teams get up for us, and they brought it. And I thought the third period we started to shift it a little bit. We had the breakaway. Louis had a breakaway that he didn't score on, and a couple other close chances. But there just wasn't a lot of opportunity, and we made one critical error in our own end in the second period. They made us pay for it, and they got the 2 points.
In the loss, though, one highlight was the play of Jack Catnorn, his best performance of the year. Is it nice to see him continue? In a game like that, a big crowd, seemed like he really was thriving in a pressure situation like that, because one of his best performances I think we've seen this year.
Yeah, I think Chad always steps his game up in tough situations. We saw that last year in the playoffs. We saw that, or I saw that when we recruited him out of the Max tournament out of Calgary, and clearly we're going to need him to play well down the stretch here. We only have 9 to go, so we already, for whatever all intents and purposes, we're basically in the playoffs now, and so we'll need his leadership on the back end there in net, and I'm sure he'll bring that come playoff time. A+
on the ice before the game, had a cameo with Mark Donnelly in the anthem. How would you rate that performance by Chad Catnorn?
You know what? Obviously. It was kind of a bit of a surprise, and he did real well. A lot of people would put in that situation. It kind of goes back to the fact that he can handle pressure. A lot of people would freeze and not be able to get a word out, and he did pretty well. Hit
his mark too, didn't miss a beat, obviously, and got the words right as well. I talked about that night. Over 3,200 pounds of food was raised for Feed the Valley. Thank you to you that came out, over 4,000 fans. We saw the police department rally and win late in the Hogs and Hosers game. The biggest crowd of the year as well, over 4,000 fans we talked about. What was it like for you behind the benches, seeing that kind of night? Must have been a special feeling.
Yeah, it's always great to be able to give things back, and so it was a great cause, and we talked about that prior. And as far as the game goes, I mean, once you get on the ice and you get on the bench, I mean, everything kind of goes. It's kind of a blur. You're more focused on other things, and I don't think there was really an issue one way or the other for our guys. I think it was just one of those situations where it was a tight checking game. I think it would have been the same. The disappointing part was that we weren't able to score. I think we would have got a goal. I think that probably would have put that crowd on our side a little bit and got them going a little more. But all in all, it was a great night, and hopefully we can see more of those.
Underwriters Insurance also giving out a lot of money to local schools for a school spirit competition. Lots of money raised for the breakfast program as well. All the good cause, which we'll do next year as well. We'll take a break, take a time out. When we come back, we'll talk about the line. Louis Nanny, Jed Soley, and Wade Murphy again, red hot, and also talk about some returnees as well. This is Coach's Corner from the Best Damn Sports Bar. Yes, the Vees doing a booster bus this weekend, Saturday in Merritt. 4:30 it leaves the SOEC parking lot. $39 gets you game ticket, bus fare to and from the game, and some pizza, courtesy of Penticton Pizza and Sub as well on the bus. Obviously entertainment with some movies to the game and back. About 33 spots have been taken. Still some room. About 49 can go, so make sure you phone the Vees office on Friday morning or Saturday morning at 493 Vees, 250-493-8337 to get your spot.
Here's a look at the Vees' upcoming schedule. Remember, home or away. Follow all the action on Easy Rock AM 800 or online at www.myeasyrock.com. Why not join us next time as part of our studio audience at the Best Damn Sports Bar for another episode of Coach's Corner.
And welcome back to Coach's Corner and get back into it. We saw Rob Mann come back on the weekend, Friday and Saturday. Ryan Gropp as well. I'll start with Rob Mann, obviously. Defensive struggle Friday night. The defense played well, but how do you see him over the two games coming back since December, I guess?
Well, he did extremely well, and you know what? It's not even fair to say that he came back since December because he played 2 games there, and he had been out a few weeks prior to that as well. So, everybody else is kind of in mid-season form or past that, and Rob was starting from square one basically. So, I thought he did extremely well. I think he's another big piece of the puzzle moving forward.
Like your defensive pairings, obviously before his injury, Braden Park filling in admirably, but having a 20-year-old like him come back in there really solidifies the back end head playoff time.
Yeah, and it's critical to get him back because Braden Park got hurt, in that issue with West Kelowna, and he's still out. So it's it couldn't have come at a better time for us.
I noticed this, but you can comment on it. It's paired up with James DeHaas, and it seems like DeHaas was more confident taking the puck up ice with a guy like Rob Mann back there. We cut a couple rushes both Friday and Saturday as well. You think we'll see more of him taking the puck in offensively and kind of leading the rush?
Yeah, well, I mean, we hope so. Without getting caught up ice, James has great talent. He's an outstanding skater, a very hard shot. The play he made in the second period and against Merritt, I don't think Steele knew he had stopped it. It was stuck in his blocker there, we clearly would like to see James take the bull by the horns and make some plays offensively without compromising the back end. And
it's nice still lefty-righty matchup with all your D pairings. The casual fan might not realize that, but that means a lot when you have the kind of equal balance of lefties and righties on the blue line. Yeah, it's tough. And that's one thing with Rob. I mean, it's hard to find right-handed defensemen a lot of times for some reason, and this year we've got some pretty good balance on the back end. And then Ryan Gropp, obviously, doing what he does. A beautiful goal on Saturday night. Didn't look no worse for wear. Confidence again, but does he not score ugly goals, Ryan Gropp? No, it seems like every time he scores, it's a pretty one. And once again, you saw the quick feed through the neutral zone. And once he started winding it up, you could just tell that there wasn't going to be anybody that could stop him. And finished off with the great little backhand through the 5-hole. And he scored a nice goal against Alberni the last time we played him in their building, and he's just gotten better and better. We talked about that in training camp about how we thought there could be some serious growth with that young man, and he's definitely absorbed everything we've thrown at him. He's taken it. He's really worked hard off the ice as well, and he's trying hard in school. He's being a well-rounded person, and I think he's being rewarded for it on the ice. That surprised you? Because I noticed this even just doing interviews with him for a 16-year-old, his demeanor, kind of beyond his years, it seems like. Was that surprising that he's kind of the maturation process moved along that quickly with him? Well, I think it's important. I think it goes back to your family. I mean, he's been raised very well. He comes from a great family and hockey family. And the one thing that I'm always impressed with him is when different colleges and stuff say that they've tried to contact them, he gets back to them through email or phone or whatever.
very quickly he's a real diligent on staying on top of things that way, and I think, like I said, I think his maturity level is what's helped him play at this level at such a high pace.
January started to come on, had that great island road trip. Does that coincide, do you think, with the under-17 challenge that went into January? Do you think you saw a different player after he came out of that tournament compared to before?
Yeah, I think before he was fighting to try to get on that team, and then once he was there, he saw what it was going to take to be one of the best at his at his age group, and I think it probably drove him even harder when he came back to be not just on our team, but be a big part of our team. And that's I actually had a meeting with him about that yesterday, about not taking a back seat to anybody. And I think come playoff time, he's a player that we could definitely rely on and lean on.
11 goals, 27 points, not bad for a 16-year-old in the BCHL. Yeah. Moving on, a line that's doing not bad itself. Wade Murphy, Jed Soloway, and Louis Nanny, talked about it off the top. We saw him paired in December, then he had some injuries, and he had to take him away and balance the lines out a bit. I don't think this line will be broken up anytime soon the way they performed on Saturday night.
No, you look at it, you look through the middle, you've got Jed Soloway, who brings a lot of puck protection skills, very strong on the puck, and quick release, and he doesn't beat it up as far as being able to move it. You've got Louis Nanny, who can outright fly and creates off his speed, and really when he's on his game, he can really make things off the rush and off the cycle, and then you've got Wade Murphy, who when he's going, he can score and is a well-rounded player. Like he plays a 200-foot game when he's at his best. So all three of them kind of bring something different to the table, and when you put them all together, they're a line that defensively should be very strong in our own end, and clearly in the offensive zone should be able to make plays.
Speaking of making plays in the offensive zone, I'll start with how well Jed Soloway, last check, he was about 64% on the year in the face-off circle. Is that a huge difference, this line starting the puck in the offensive zone with a strong guy down the middle?
Absolutely, and I think, going to take a step back, I think on Friday night, one of our issues is the first half of the game, we were losing a heck of a lot of face-offs, even Soloway was, and the second half is when we started to win draws, and then all of a sudden a little puck possession, and then now you're getting some more scoring chances. And I think Saturday night, we won a majority of our face-offs, and especially the critical ones. And like I say, you start every shift chasing, you're going to waste 3/4 of your shift, and it gives momentum to the other team, and that's why face-offs are so critical.
Different element this line brings, maybe the fact that you got a shooter in Louis Nanny, but you got a shooter in Wade Murphy. You can't really key on one guy that's going to take the shot on any given shift, I suppose.
Yeah, you know what? We've got multiple players that can play in different roles, and multiple players that can score goals. And I think, like I said, it's funny to say that when you get shut out, but at the same time, like I said, over the last 10 games, I think we've been scoring at a pretty good pace.
Chemistry is off the charts. Is it surprising? Kind of different guys. Wade Murphy's kind of a goofball. Jed Soloway's quiet, kind of a serious guy, and Louis Nanny maybe the same thing as well. Does that even come into play, or just the on-ice chemistry that you see really budding?
Yeah, they're three completely different, type of people away from the rink and in the locker room. But when they get on the ice, it's they seem to just sort of mesh and gel well together, and that bodes well for us. Obviously we get Rebry back come Sunday, and it gives us an opportunity to find another line that we can put together that have that same kind of chemistry, and it'll really balance four pretty serious lines together.
Everybody's pretty close in this team. They all hang out together. You see them in the dressing room. But on ice, no mistaking the chemistry these three have. You move in now. We'll talk about some special teams quickly here. The power play 3 for 6 on Saturday night. Just one power play Friday, but Saturday 3 for 6. The game before 4 for 8 against the Coquitlam Express. What has changed, you think, the last couple of games here at the Man Advantage?
Yeah, you know what? It's probably the last 20 games. I looked at it. We're actually at 25% over the last 20 games. So it's been a work in progress. Different personnel changes that we've made, but then also I think different points of attack when we're not as predictable. I think our zone entries have been better. We've worked on it in practice. Just being a little harder on the puck on our zone entries, and you put all that together, and we've found ways to get success. And 25% is number one in the league right now, and like I said, that's where we're at over the last 20. And if we can keep it there and continue to improve, that gives us something else to build on for playoffs.
Last week and a half, climbing in now to ninth in the BCHL, inside the top 10, just under 20%. We'll come back, talk about the weekend, a big one, 3-3 for the Vees. We have Salmon Arm, Merritt, and Couch Valley up on the docket. We'll be back after this to break that down. This is Coach's Corner from the Best Damn Sports Bar. Yes, the Vees doing a booster bus this weekend, Saturday in Merritt. 4:30 it leaves the SOEC parking lot. $39 gets you game ticket, bus fare to and from the game, and some pizza, courtesy of Penticton Pizza and Sub as well on the bus. Obviously entertainment with some movies to the game and back. About 33 spots have been taken. Still some room. About 49 can go, so make sure you phone the Vees office on Friday morning or Saturday morning at 493 Vees. 250-493-8337 to get your spot.
Here's a look at the Vees' upcoming schedule. Remember, home or away. Follow all the action on Easy Rock AM 800 or online at www.myeasyrock.com. Why not join us next time as part of our studio audience at the Best Damn Sports Bar for another episode of Coach's Corner.
And finally, welcome back to Coach's Corner on the Best Damn Sports Bar. In our final segment here, Vees do a 3-3 weekend. Third and final time they do it. Starts tomorrow night against Salmon Arm, a team that's had success against the Vees the last two outings, winning both, but they have lost 4 in a row. You were there in Salmon Arm on Wednesday night when they lost to Merritt. What do you expect from the Silverbacks tomorrow night?
Well, I think the biggest thing out of Salmon Arm is their back end can really skate. Shane Hanna, Sherbinin. You look at, throughout their decor, it seems like they want to, when they make a pass, they're right up following it up, and they get that second wave offense going. So, when we talked to our guys a little bit today, and we'll, reiterate it again tomorrow that we got to make sure that, when you're containing on their defensemen, you got to be hard on them. If they do move the puck, you can't stop moving your feet and get beat back up ice.
You saw the game last night. They had a good start. Leads of 1-0 and 2-1. You saw a third period. Was that a team hitting a wall, maybe falling off, hitting some fatigue? What did you see in the third period collapse?
Yeah, they seem to, they seem to make some mental errors in the third. They looked a little tired. They've got some guys out with injuries right now, and it'll be interesting to see. Obviously Alex Jewell was out with a suspension. He'll be back tomorrow night, but so I'm sure they might get a few of those guys back, and that'll change their lineup up front. And Clark kind of struggled a little bit. He seemed like he fought to track the puck, and the 3 goals were long shots. So it's something that we want to make sure that we create traffic and get pucks in net early on them, and there was a lot of rebounds.
Lots to talk about in the storylines. Possible first round matchup if the playoffs started tomorrow, for example, 1 versus 4. But he lost the last 2 games against this team, so there's gonna be a lot of juices flowing on the Vees side. Haven't played them since December as well.
Yeah, you know what? We had success against them early. I thought, the overtime loss in their building, we played pretty well and just couldn't spread the score out. And the game that we lost at our building, I really didn't like the way we played. Even though I think the shots were, we doubled them in shots, but I think I just didn't like that the way we played that game. And I think all their success goes off their ability to get up in the play with their decor, and so it's going to be critical for us to try to create turnovers and then quickly transition the other direction. And a lot of times, if we can do that, we'll be going against a defenseman and a forward on the back, and so it doesn't really matter what we did in December or October or whatever. It's about playing well now down the stretch, and we've talked to our guys with 9 games to go. It's every game is game 7 right now, and that's the mentality we want to take.
Yeah, so I guess last on Salmon Arm, you just mentioned it, taking away the puck away from 12 to 19, Sherbinin and Shane Hanna tomorrow night. That'll be key.
Yeah, absolutely. If you give them space through the middle of the ice, then they'll wind it up and they'll build speed. And last night both their goals came off those 2 players, off defensemen. So we got to make sure that we're filling lanes and making it hard for them to enter our zone. And
Sherbinin showed some flashes last night on a goal, nice end-to-end rush. Okay, Saturday, a lot of people are looking forward to this one. It's a fan bus going to Merritt on Saturday. Nicola Valley Arena, rematch of last Friday's game. changes dynamic, obviously, with the confines, the way you want to play your game. But what do you want to see from your team on Saturday in Merritt?
You know what? We just got to be prepared that we can't just push pucks up the wall. You know that they do a good job of pinching down and playing hard, taking the walls away. So we've there's not a lot of room to move. There wasn't a lot on our ice, so it's going to be even worse there. And we've had success in that building in the past. The last time we were there, we had an unfortunate bounce against us in the third period with a minute to go to lose the game. But other than that, we had played pretty well. And we need to generate more scoring chances, and if we do that, then I think our chances climb dramatically to get 2 points out of there.
Usually for teams that don't regularly play there, even regularly play there, it's a tough place to play, the Nicola Valley Arena. But this team over the years, since you've been here, has a lot of success in that barn. Last year, even earlier this year as well. What do you notice? Is it a confidence thing? Does it seem like this team's not confident heading into a rink like that any given night?
Oh, you know what? I mean, you look at our overall record. I mean, we've been pretty. You could say that about a lot of different places. So it's a place that you can't. It comes back to one-on-one battles and just competing hard and not being surprised by funny bounces. I mean, their pucks can come flying right out in front of your net at any given time. They like to, on their dump ins, a lot of times they like to shoot for about 5 feet off to either side of the net and hope it bounces right out in the slot as they coming into the zone. And it's something that we're aware of, and hopefully one of the bigger challenges for me is just trying to stay warm on that bench.
Yeah, one of the most coldest rinks in the VCHL. Might have to don the toque for that one. No real advantage, obviously. Both teams playing the night before on Friday, and then things wrap up Sunday. The second and final time, a non-conference opponent, the Cowichan Valley Capitals, coming in. End of weekend for both teams. Is that just kind of being smart and playing smart rather than maybe playing hard in a scenario like that in the tail end of a busy weekend?
Well, I think you're always playing smart and hard. I mean, I think you go back to our talk about last Friday where, I thought we were playing hard, but our forecheck maybe wasn't balanced and all the time, and then all of a sudden you're running around and exerting energy that you don't need to. And on a weekend when you have 3 games in 3 days, and it's critical that you put those two aspects together. And as far as right now our main concern is winning first in the interior, but at the same time, first overall is still within grasp. And Friday and Sunday are our 2 games in hand on Victoria, and so you can't waste any points at this time of year, and those 2 will be critical.
And you can't overlook an opponent as well. Cowichan might be last in the league, but you never know in the BCHL. It seems like any given night a team can win. What do you expect though from the Cowichan Valley Capitals Sunday?
Well, hey, you look at as you just mentioned, you look at Coquitlam. We beat them 11-0, and they go beat they go back the next week and beat Surrey in overtime, and they beat Chilliwack. So you know what, we've watched a little bit of tape on them. We had a successful outing against them months ago. Their personnel has changed quite a bit since then. It's a whole new team. So we like I said, I think it's not going to be on Sunday. It's not going to be as much about what they're doing. We'll analyze their power play a little bit to make sure nothing fools us. But other than that, that we're going to play our game. We're going to play a real smart checking style of hockey game and utilize our speed. And if we do that, then the 2 points will hopefully be on our side.
Is it really key to get on a roll? We saw that. Well, this team's been on a roll. Saw 7 wins in a row, 8 in your last 9. But is it key to get a weekend like this underneath your belt heading into March, where there's only a few games and boom, it's playoff time?
Yeah, we're 3 weeks away from play. The season being done, so 4 weeks till playoffs. So it's very important that you're feeling good about yourselves. I think that's why it was critical that we bounce back on Saturday. And you lose Saturday, all of a sudden it's a sort of a gloomy week, and we were able to do that. And now you got 3 games in 3 days, and 3 different type of styles, of teams that we're playing. 2 at home, 1 on the road, and obviously when the season's over and you're getting ready for playoffs, then it's a whole new year. But anybody that tells you they don't want to finish in first is lying to you, or they're not alive. So it's like everything we do, we want to finish in first, and that's in our grasp right now, and we don't want to just if someone's gonna take it from us, that's exactly what they're going to have to do. We're not going to lay down for it.
It'll be interesting to see how it goes. Lots of hockey around the SOEC this weekend. 3 games for the Vees, as mentioned, 2 at home. That does it for us. We're out of time for another episode of Coach's Corner. I'd like to thank the coach as always. Thanks to the studio audience as well. And we'll be back next week reviewing a busy weekend and previewing another weekend as well. This has been Coach's Corner from the Best Damn Sports Bar here in Penticton.
Coach's Corner has been a presentation of the Penticton Vees. Production services provided by Groovy Productions and Synergy Imaging. I'm Wayne Williams. And remember, everyone, help control the pet population. Have your pet spayed or neutered.